If you like to drive around and talk about the latest happenings, this is the channel you need. So subscribe and follow Carmentary.
What's happening, everybody? Welcome back. Another edition of Carmentary. As always, driving in my car. Have a few moments here and an interesting piece of news to talk about. So I thought I'd set up the camera and record. Heading out to Niseko today. Kind of cloudy, but we've had a few bad weather days, so I'll take a cloudy day over a rainy day. Anyway, today the story I have, just found this morning on Google, kind of an interesting cultural news story from Okinawa here in Japan. Apparently there is a Japanese ramen restaurant owned by a Japanese guy in Ishigaki-jima, one of the southernmost islands in the Yaeyama chain of islands out there. I've been there once. It's quite beautiful, very small island. A lot of tourists, obviously that's their major industry, is tourism, so they get a lot of foreigners, but there's, you know, it's a mix of a lot of people from all over Asia, Europe, etc. coming over, and of course Japanese tourists. So there's a small ramen restaurant. He has seating for like only 12 people. And apparently, this guy, the owner of the chef and the owner, he's had a lot of trouble with Japanese clients. And I'm assuming that's like Japanese tourists. Now maybe he's got some locals that are giving him trouble too. But the main problem he's had, because it's a small restaurant, only seating for 12, he asks that everyone who comes in and takes a seat orders a bowl of ramen. You know, instead of like if you had a couple who came in and took up 2 seats and they only ordered one bowl of ramen, you're kind of losing money because you could have someone else in there sitting on that seat. So understandably, he's got these kind of rules lined up. And apparently, it's always the Japanese tourists who break his rules. He's got a sign apparently that says, you know, no small kids and toddlers. Like it's only adults come in, sit down, eat, and go. Ramen, you got to understand, they don't make a lot of money, from what I hear, on each bowl of ramen. So it's a scale thing. You have to do volume. You have to sell a lot of ramen to make real money with it. A restaurant like an izakaya style restaurant where you have all these little dishes, they make their money from the alcohol. They sell a lot of beer. That's where they really make their money. In a ramen shop, you don't really sell alcohol or beer. It's people just come in, eat a bowl of ramen and go. So you gotta have high volume, especially in a small shop. So what happened is this guy had so much trouble with all the Japanese tourists, and he never had that problem with any of the foreign tourists. So recently he put a sign up in the window of his shop saying no Japanese tourists allowed at all. 0 until October. That was the catch. Until October at the minimum, and then he's gonna kind of rethink his plan. So he's lost a lot of business because now Japanese people see the sign and they're like, what? No Japanese people allowed? What's going on? And then they're probably like, screw this guy. And they go to some other restaurant. The foreigners, they can't read the sign anyway, so they just go right in, and he's happy. Interesting kind of thing, because, man, if you try to pull that in America, I wonder what would happen. Man, you would get, you'd probably get sued, first of all. In Japan, people are like, oh, okay, whatever, weirdo, out of here, we're going somewhere else, and they don't care. On the flip side, this story reminded me of a place I heard about here in Hokkaido. I won't say the exact town, but there's a shop that doesn't allow any foreigners. So that's the reverse, and that's kind of what I would expect in Japan. You know, there's going to be a certain element of people who run, you know, restaurants, for example. Maybe This one, it's kind of funny. This restaurant, I haven't been there, obviously, because I heard that he doesn't allow foreigners, so I didn't go. But it's actually an Italian restaurant. They serve Italian food. Pizza, pasta, linguine. It's foreign food! What's wrong with you? You serve foreign food and you don't allow foreigners to come and eat it. This is like, what? But again, this is kind of thing I would, after living in Japan for 30 years, just go, yeah, okay, I can see that. You know, there's a guy, he likes Italian food, but maybe he had some foreigners come into his restaurant and they're obnoxious and noisy, and maybe they tried to cheat him out of some money. You know, you never know. And he just got this image that they're all bad. So he's like, okay, I'm just gonna ban them all. Screw it, Japanese only. So whether that's, you know, a racist thing or prejudice or just, you know, a personal policy, whatever, I kind of expect that more than a Japanese store owner banning all Japanese people. We usually hear complaints about, you know, certain nationalities in Japan. It's quite common. There's a lot of prejudice here, especially for their Asian counterparts. So it's like, oh, you know, the so-and-so people, man, they're so noisy, they're so rude, they're obnoxious, you know, whatever. You hear this a lot. So to have a restaurant actually banning Japanese people is kind of refreshing and new. At the end of the article, it mentioned that obviously, you know, the guy's having a lot less business now because he's banned a large percentage of his clientele. And he was thinking of a new way to deal with this, and that was to set up a membership system for Japanese people. So the details on how that would work were not really explained. I don't think he thought it through yet, but maybe some kind of like a membership card, or you have to like apply, you know, and get your card and prove that you're all cool. And then you, as a Japanese person, would be able to show your card to get into the shop and eat a ramen. Okay, now whether that works or not, and I mean, obviously the ramen's got to be really good, right? It's got to be like top of the line, like there's some special ingredients in that ramen. I have to eat it, so I need to go and get my membership card. And what kind of an approval process do you have to go through? You like have to read the rules and the mission statement, make a signature, get a witness, have your hanko, get it hankoed officially. Probably got to go through all this stuff. So red tape just to eat a bowl of ramen could be the future. But I could see that, you know, going forward for small shops, all different types of establishments. You know, me personally, we have a small cafe, and we also run 2 units on Airbnb. And I understand the intricacies of dealing with people, just people in general, but then people from different cultures, different languages, different, you know, ideologies, whatever. Everybody's got their thing, you know. You think you got it kind of worked out, and then someone comes along and you're like, whoa, these people are wacko. Don't get them at all. Maybe we should ban them. But, you know, we try to keep an open mind and just understand that there's a lot of different people out there. But maybe in the future we'll see more things like that, you know. You'll have to have like a approved tourist card. So you're like, we're good, mannerly, orderly tourists. We won't come in and screw up your establishment. We're going to be good customers. A good customer card. That's what it could be. I'm an approved good customer. Let me in. I want to eat some ramen. Okay, so that was our little tidbit today. You can find that on Google Top Stories, maybe. Interesting little thing to think about. And keep that in mind when you do come to Japan. You may encounter things that you would consider, crazy, prejudice. Like, oh, how can he get away with that? Hey, that's the way it is over here. Good luck changing it. Things have changed a lot in the last 30 years, but on the other hand, things really haven't changed all that much. Incremental changes over time, I think. Yeah. All right, we're going to keep this one short, wrap it up here today, let you guys get back to your life, and I will get back to my driving to my destination. And we'll be back with another edition, maybe the next one in Japanese. As always, thanks for tuning in, and drive safe.
If you like to drive around and talk about the latest happenings, this is the channel you need. So subscribe and follow Carmentary.